Hi guys, this is Eliza and
Aurus,
from Conversation Guru, we are the.
conversation gurus.
And today we're tackling a very interesting topic. Aurus actually got a question in one of his live sessions, which are awesome. Everyone should check them out. Where someone asked him, how do you fix a past relationship or get back into a past relationship? And Aurus had some awesome thoughts on it, so I figured you should want to share first.
Yes, so I actually did this live Instagram about a couple of days ago. Someone asked, how do you fix a broken friendship? Exactly what Eliza asked. And I gave him my 2 cents, and I'm going to give another, maybe around the same type of advice. But then later on, we're also going to add some extra stuff, definitely for you from Eliza's perspective. So the first thing is this. It's just two things. Number one is you need to be the first comer. And number two, you need to put yourself at a lower pedestal. But I'm going to explain. So what I mean by this is that when there's a broken friendship, for whatever reason, I don't know any specifics for any of you watching out there, but if you have a broken friendship, you guys aren't speaking, you guys are mad at each other, the first thing is that you need to be the first comer. You need to be the first person to build the guts and go speak to that person. Because if you wait till they come and speak to you, most likely it's just never, ever going to happen. Most likely. There could be a chance, but most likely it's just not going to happen. And if you have that mentality, like, oh no, I'm gonna let them come up to me, and then they should come up to me. They're gonna do is they. A year can pass, 2 years, 5 years, nothing will ever get fixed, and there'll be a lot of resentment towards that friendship, that previous friendship that there was. Now, here's the thing. Always also have this in mind. If let's say there's a broken friendship, bad relationship, something bad happened. Now, and it's taking you that long to actually approach them, to get the guts to go speak to them. It could mean a couple of things. Either one, you feel really guilty, which it could be that most likely it was your fault, but you don't want to admit it. Maybe you're just not humble enough to admit the mistake, and you're just angry, but in reality it's your fault. Or maybe this person really didn't mean that much to you. Maybe it was just convenient that they were your friend, or they were just there. Maybe this person doesn't really mean that much to you, because when you truly love someone, or when you like someone as a friend, right, then you want to fix it immediately. Then you wouldn't need it, you would not have to even think about it 3 times. You just go and do it immediately. The second thing is you need to put yourself on a pedestal, which is this. A lot of times when you're angry and you're furious and stuff like that, right? You're thinking purely based on
Your anger.
your emotions, and you're not thinking logically. So when you go and speak to this person, right, you need to go into the situation with a humble view. You need to go in and say, listen, most likely I messed up. What is it that I did to mess up? What can we do to fix it? You're not going in furious, angry, say, hey, it was your fault. You messed up. Why didn't you come speak to me? No. Because if you do that, their inner guard's going to come up and they're going to fight you back, and nothing's ever going to get fixed. So you need to go with the mindset like, listen, I probably messed up. I probably said something. I did something I wasn't supposed to do. Did I offend you? You go in with this mentality. You're going to kill them with kindness, and you're going to catch them off guard, because people are usually they're usually waiting for a fight, for an argument, for a debate. That's what they're waiting for. But you're going the extreme opposite field. You're going to the other side where you're like killing them with kindness, and you're throwing all the blame on yourself. And I know this is difficult. Trust me. I know it's hard. I know it is. But that feeling you get when you're like, but it wasn't me, it was them. They messed up, or they said this. What kind of friend are they, right? That's your ego coming to play. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was all their fault. But if you come in with your ego in first place, right, everything's going to go down the drain. So just have these things in mind. And now we're going to go up to Eliza. Well, she's right here. We're going to go to Eliza, and she's going to give us her thoughts and perspectives on how to fix a broken friendship. Like, what do you think is the best approach on how to do it, and what did you think of what I said? But I want to hear your thoughts more.
Okay, so first of all, a lot of times when people want to go into a past relationship, like a best friend or an ex or something like that, they're sitting there and they're like, they want to reclaim the past, right? But what you got to remember is that it is impossible to reclaim the past. Like, no one has a time machine. Like, you can't go into the past. You can't go and relive a memory, right?
True.
And what's really important to realize about that is people grow and change, right? Like, you are not the same person you were a year ago or 2 years ago. I was not the same person I was a week ago. Aurus is not the same person he was even an hour ago. Yes. And
Okay. Okay.
your experiences shape you and they change you. The more you learn, the more you experience, the more you change and grow. That doesn't mean that you're a different person. It just means that you've grown as a person into a more mature person, right? So let's say you had a best friend when you were 10, right? And you see them walking down the street and you're like, man, we should be best friends again, right? Are you gonna go to like the playground with them, or go and I don't know, maybe you like going to the playgrounds, or are you gonna go and like play like 10-year-old games with them? Like, are you gonna go and do that, or are you gonna want to go and say like, okay, let's go catch a movie, let's go take a walk, let's go do those things that are a little bit more mature, right?
True.
So a mistake that a lot of people make when they go and they try to reclaim friendships is that they go and they think back in the past like, oh, what did we like to do together? Oh, we like to do this. Let's go do this. Now, the reason they do that is from a really good place. They want to make the other person feel comfortable. They want to make them feel like, look, remember what we had? We could have it again. The issue is that's going to turn off the other person to this, because let's say someone did this to you and then they invite you to go and do something that you used to do like years ago but you've totally grown out of. You're going to feel like, nah, maybe this person hasn't matured as well. Maybe I don't want to go to the past. I don't want to go and be the same person I was. And maybe they don't know the real you yet, so they're just seeing the past you when you just showed them the past you. So when you go and you're like thinking like, okay, I want to have a relationship with this person, don't go and try to have the same relationship. Go and have a new relationship with them. So when you go and meet them, get to know them like you would any other person. You say like, hey, how are you? What have you been up to? What do you do? How do you spend your days? Get to know them. And now here's the important part as well. You have to show them that you're a little different than you were. You have to show them that you've grown a little bit, because what does this do? It creates a bit of intrigue in them, like, oh, I thought I knew this person. Who are they? Now, you still have the same core of who you were that they liked, so you still have that. You're just a little different now. So one of the big things that I think that you should really do is keep in mind, don't try to have the same relationship as in the past. Have a new one. And that should take away a little bit of that anxiety, because you know how to have a new friendship with someone. It's when you try to recreate and try to intermingle and enmesh and change history and all that, that's where it gets messy. So don't try to do that. Just step over it and have a new relationship with this person. The issue where you were speaking a little bit, and I want to tackle a little bit now, is what do you do when the past relationship ended in a bad way? Where you were talking about like humbling yourself and going to them first. I agree with you 100% that... Sorry guys, there was a lot of people around, so we stopped for a second. But we were talking about how when you're trying to reclaim a relationship that had a negative ending, where it was a little bit hostile, and Aurus was saying earlier that you have to humble yourself a lot, and that's really true, guys, because you can't assume that the other person is going to be the bigger person and speak to you first. You can't assume that. So if you want something, it's on you to go and get it. So I agree with you 100%. The second thing that I would say is that you need to do two things. First of all, you need to own up to the fact that you did something. It takes two to tango. There's no way that you were completely innocent in any negative thing that happened. So you need to own up to your side. The second thing I would say is don't take on all the blame, though. Because if you take on all the blame, like let's say you go to this person and you're like groveling on your knees and you're begging for forgiveness and you want to be your friends again, and they say, fine, I'll be your friend again. They're going to lord this over you for a very long time. A, you will never be able to deny it. B, and you're going to develop resentment in this friendship. And if you develop a resentment in that friendship, then that friendship is going to die. It's a fact. It's going to die unless you handle that. So what you have to do is you have to go in, be a mature adult. You have to go in, talk to them. Say like, listen, I own up to what I did. Now, here's the really crucial part. Don't go in and accuse them of things. Explain to them how you feel, because no one can deny how you feel. That's a fact. You feel how you feel, right? So let's say Aurus and I had a big fight, right? We're no longer friends.
No.
And then I decide I want to be friends with him again. I'm going to come in and I'm going to be like, listen.
No thanks.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to be like, okay, listen, Aurus, I wanted to come and apologize for my part in what went down in the past. I understand I was really selfish, and I really have worked on it, and I want to be better. Do you think you would be able to forgive me for that? and let's say he says yes,
I say yes. Mm-hmm.
and then I want to say also, but I really do want to build like a friendship with you, and I know that you have to have really good communication in order to have a real, honest friendship. So I'm not saying this to accuse you or anything like that. I'm not trying to be negative. I want to let you know how I felt, just so that I know that you know, because I know you don't want to hurt me or make me feel bad, just so that you know, so you know that to make sure not to do these things to make me feel that way in the future. So you could say like, I felt a little degraded when you did this, or I felt a little negative when you did this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell them they did anything wrong. Tell them how you felt when they did things. Say like, I took it the wrong way, I know, but maybe you could communicate a little bit more with me, because I need that level of communication in order to have a good friendship. So make it about you a little bit. But what's cool about this is at the same time, you're letting them realize they did something wrong, not feel super defensive because you're not attacking them,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't do that behavior again because now they know. Because it's actually getting into where they need to hear it. And if they do it again, you know how to approach now. You could say like, listen, I know you didn't mean it. It just felt a little bit this way when you did it again. I know we're both really trying to work on this friendship. Maybe you could help me out a little bit. Like, tell me what I can do to help communicate better with you, and you can communicate better with me. Make it like a two-way street. Don't take all the blame, though. That's really bad.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I mean, when in the past when I've tried, I've been very fortunate that I've had not to be in this situation as much as other people. I've had to do it a couple times, but not that much, right? But it's true what you mentioned, but I never took the entire blame. I did take, but I did do this. I took, even though I didn't have the majority of the blame, I didn't take all of it, but I did take 51%.
That's okay.
I took 51%, even though, let's say I only did 30 or 40, but I went a little bit further and I took 51% because I love this little thing you did where basically, and tell me if I'm summarizing it wrong for the audience here, that you basically, right, you approach them first, you're honest, you first tell them how you felt, no one can say that you're wrong by how you feel, and then you're telling them, you're reassuring them, say, hey, listen, you're validating them, you say, listen, I know you wouldn't do this, this, or this to me because we are friends. I just felt this, this, and this by your actions. So it's beautiful because you're first telling them how you felt. Then you're telling them that based on what they did, then again, how you felt again. But I love that you're not accusing. And when I've done this in the past, I've done the same exact thing, and I never took 100% of the blame. I took a good portion, and then I would find a way to make a bridge to show them how sorry I was, and maybe I did certain things. But also there were certain things that that person did to me or said to me that I also did not enjoy. Mm-hmm. But I never was like, listen, you are wrong 100%. You are the demon. You're a devil. You should get the death penalty. I never said any of this stuff. I never said any of these things or close to it. But because I built that bridge, and that's what you're doing, you're starting a foundation and you're building the bridge so then you can get to the broken friendship, and they can actually come up with their own part to admit that they probably did certain things that they didn't want to. And everyone who's watching, I'm telling you, no one likes to admit they're wrong.
No.
Nobody.
I hate it.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll run away.
She runs away. She's a very fast runner. No one likes to admit it. There's probably other people who will, it's easier for them to admit it than others. I do agree with that. But no one likes to admit that they're wrong, so it's going to take them longer to get there. So why don't you just pave them, make that bridge for them so they can cross it with you, and they can admit it too, and then you can continue on with your life. But basically what you also mentioned was that you're not fixing an old relationship. You're creating a new one based on whatever happened, and when you create a new one, you can have new memories, right?
100%. One more thing I want to clarify. Because a lot of people,
Okay, go on.
I'm telling you, I've given this advice before, and sometimes people come back with me and they're like, Elisa, it didn't work, they're so angry with me, blah, blah, blah. But this is what happens. And I'm like, interesting, tell me what you said. And what happens is people like to use this as an excuse to rebuke people.
Go.
That is not your job. It's not your job to make them a better person. It's not your job to rebuke them. Your job is to communicate your side and your feelings, because you are not in their heads. You do not how they reacted to what you did. So you don't get a right to do that. So just make sure that when you go in, you're going in just from what you actually know. Don't try to figure out who they are or what they think. Let them tell you.
All right then. I think that's a good way to, I think that's a very good way to end this video. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. This is like a mini, this was like a mini how to fix a broken friendship. This does work most of the time. Listen, last thing, if it doesn't work out and you did everything we just mentioned, then guess what? You got to move on and get some new friends.
Yeah.
You know, they're your past, and you got to continue. You cannot dwell on the past. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Please like this video, comment, send us your questions. Tell us what you thought about our ideas and thoughts and our techniques on how to fix a broken friendship. We would really appreciate it. Please subscribe.
Yes.
Over here, we would really love that. It helps us a lot. Guys, thank you guys so much. And of course, till next time.